It's over. The biggest fight in history, in our lifetime. Probably we'll never see a fight of this magnitude ever again until the day we die.
Yeah.
It's now over.
Were you let down, surprised? What you thought? Like, what do you think? How would you sum up your thoughts?
Well, first, a lot of people believe that it's not the biggest fight of all time, of our generation, you know. People think the Canelo Triple G fight's going to be a bigger fight than this, where I really believe this was the biggest.
I think in terms of the crossover, in terms of like mainstream media and just popular culture, this is the biggest fight we've seen. I think purely for boxing fans, Canelo Triple G is probably a bigger fight within boxing. Well, this is a bigger fight overall.
How do you measure the fight size? You measure it by the amount of views that I got, and this fight's being viewed, I bet you, twice as much as the Canelo Triple G fight. So
definitely.
That means it is the biggest.
Yeah.
Was it the best? It was very good.
So it was a good fight.
It was a very good fight. So let's bring it back from the start when it was announced. I remember Conor was in the Box and Burn gym over a year ago now, and I tweeted about this, and I was talking to him, and he said, yeah, I'm going to try and fight Floyd Mayweather. And I was like, oh, nice. But deep down I was thinking, good luck with that, mate. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You fucking smash you. And then it got announced. Well, before it got announced, they were going back and forth about not bullshitting on social media.
Yeah.
And then obviously it got announced, and it seems like it's went like boom.
Yeah.
It's over.
One thing I was surprised about was when he was in the Brentwood gym and he sparred, how much he has improved in such a short space of time from that spar.
Right.
He showed glimpses that he could box and that he had some skills, but how he looked on fight night against Mayweather, I was like, whoa, he improved a lot, and a lot of people were reading into his boxing ability just based off that spar.
Yeah.
And I think he proved a lot of people wrong and surprised a lot of people as well by how good he was and how much he outboxed Mayweather for 3 rounds.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, before we get into that, I want to dig deep, and I want to talk right about the fight and break it all down.
Yeah.
But like the build up, when the build up first happened, I was really excited. I could not wait, and a lot of people said they couldn't wait for they were looking more forward to the build up than they were for the actual fight.
Right.
And the first time they come head to head, I mean, from then it's just been so excited all the way.
I said that on a few comments on Instagram when I was responding to a few people who were slagging it off. I said, look, just enjoy the build-up. Even if the fight's shit and it's boring and it's a letdown, just enjoy the build-up as just something to watch on a Friday night. Watch the All Accesses and enjoy the build-up and the whole spectacle of it, and just, why not? Why be negative about it?
I mean, doesn't matter what you do, there's always negativity. We've kind of see that now, because to me, I can't see why anyone would be negative towards this fight one bit.
Yeah.
So it was surprising us, and then you see people talking shit and all that. But like, I mean, it's entertainment. At the end of the day, for a boxing fan, for a fight fan, you watch the sport because it's entertaining, right? And you want to see talented fighters.
Yeah.
There, we've got a talented fighter and a talented boxer.
Yeah.
Boxing, right? So it's good for boxing. And I said this in my blog for the Boxing News Online, if Mayweather got beat and got knocked out, that's good for boxing. Shall I tell you why? I know you disagree.
Well, yeah.
But now boxing's got a new superstar.
Mm-hmm.
See, what's just happened there? Mayweather's beat McGregor. We haven't got a new superstar.
Yeah.
We've got our superstars just retired.
Right.
So, but if he did beat him, it would have been good. Now Mayweather has beat him. Great for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Now it just shows the best of MMA can't do anything with the best of boxing.
I don't think that's necessarily true, that the best of MMA can't do anything in boxing. I think it all depends on who it is. It depends on the individuals. Because I think you could get somebody like Cody Garbrandt or maybe one of the Diaz brothers, or someone who's got a boxing background, who's a really good stand-up fighter, could probably hold their own against somebody who's not quite as elite in a boxing ring. So to say that, I saw this posted as well on social media, that someone said this just goes to prove that someone from MMA can go into boxing and hold their own, and it just shows that someone who goes into MMA, into the cage from boxing, can't. I was just like, it's a lot of bullshit. It all depends on who it is.
Yeah,
there's no concrete if you're in MMA, you can't hold your own in boxing. If you do boxing, you can't hold your own in the cage. It all depends on who it is and what the background is and what the skills are and the styles. And there's so much more than just being able to say, if you do this, you can't do this. And if you do this, you can't do that.
You're right what you say. But what I'm saying is, like, at the end of the day, boxing's won. People are saying it's got damage boxing. Boxing's won.
And that was what I was so nervous about, because I love boxing and I really believe it's like, it's my passion, and I really believe in it as a sport and a skill, and I think it's like the ultimate test of your will and your skill and everything. So going into this, I was really nervous because I just thought, what if Conor does him? I'm like, I just don't want him to. A lot of boxing fans were saying, I really hope he knocks Mayweather out. And I was just like, deep down, I was thinking, I really hope he doesn't, because I just think Mayweather's ridiculously talented. And I'm a huge fan of him. And I think he's probably one of the best fighters of all time. And I wanted him to go and prove that. Right. And I think he did, even though he wasn't at his best, or he wasn't as sharp as he used to be. But I think he did prove that. Right.
So I've been seeing on social media, I don't know if I said it on this podcast, I know I said it when we were on the Big Brown Breakdown podcast, about why I wanted Mayweather to get beat was because of the way he acted when I met him. So I was 25-year-old, fresh from the Beijing Olympics. Someone said, I was in Vegas on holiday, someone said, go to Mayweather's gym, I know him, you can go in, meet him. And I was so excited. Floyd Mayweather, the pound-for-pound king at the time. Yeah. Went in the gym, and he came in and he walked around the gym and he shook every single person's hand in the gym, and then he come up to me and he looked me up and down and he said, "Who the fuck's this white boy?" And I was like, "Oh, my name's Tony, nice to meet you." And he shook my hand and he was like, "Oh," and someone said, "Oh, he's an Olympic bronze medalist from the Beijing Games." And he just looked and walked away. And I thought, you fucking prick. Yeah. You piece of shit. And ever since then, I want to get a beat. McGregor comes to the gym. When I walked in, "Hey, Tony," shook me hand, give me a hug. I seen you fight Kenny Egan in the Olympics, respect and all that. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this guy's cool. Yeah. When Conor's in the gym, he says hello to everyone, gets pictures with everyone, even the receptionists, on first names with them. Right. Like, super cool, super humble, even though he doesn't look like it on this big screen, but he was. Yeah. So for that reason there, that's why I wanted the nicer person in my experience to win.
So this is what I put in my blog, in my thoughts leading up to the fight, was anyone that wants Mayweather to get beat is because they have something personal against him, or they don't like him as a person. Yeah. That's what I put. And I don't have anything personal against him, and I don't give a shit what he is as a person. I'm just purely looking at it from a boxing and fight standpoint. That's why I wanted him to win. But I can completely understand people that wanted him to get knocked out. But I like, as a business guy and as a fighter, I've got nothing but respect for him. The guy's a genius. He's a massive inspiration, I think, for people who are athletes, fighters, people who want to succeed in life and get from nothing to something. He's a great example of the American dream, really, I think.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree on that and don't agree.
Morally, like,
he's not an
inspiration.
He's not
the shit that he gets into and his taste with, like, strip clubs or what he thinks of women or any of that shit. It's like, I kind of just put that to one side. I'm not going to let that. That's obvious. Whatever you think of him as far as that stuff.
Yeah,
but
if you take that shit out of it, I mean, he's the best in the business.
Right. I'm just looking at it from what he does. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what boxing is about, like I said, for the fans, it is about the entertainment. Yeah. For the fighter, is about making money. Right. So that's what I mean. With this fight, it was a win-win. A win-win.
Definitely.
Before the fight, I was watching it on Showtime. Well, first of all, I was watching it on the UFC. What's it called?
Oh, the Fight Pass. Yeah, the stream.
Yeah, nice one, mate. I paid $100 for to watch it on there. And I've never paid $100 for a fight in my life. So I'm watching the undercard, and then
so you had to pay for $100 for it to stream it as well.
To stream it, right? So normally I would get a legal stream and watch it for fucking free, but this was too big.
Because you're cheap as fuck.
I'm cheap as fuck. I'm a minge bag. I wanted to get it in HD, so I thought, nah, big event. Then UFC Fight Pass cuts out. Then I missed the next fight, so I was like, shit. So I ended up buying it on Showtime as well.
Oh, so you paid for it twice?
So I paid $200. Devil, mate.
And you're only watching it on a laptop?
Watching it on a laptop in my hotel room. But the good thing about watching it on the laptop in my hotel room was quiet. Yeah. I could concentrate on the fight. And before the fight, and I seen him in the dressing rooms, I got nervous as fuck. Yeah, I know you did as well.
Yeah, same here. I stayed in. I watched it in my house. I just watched it on the couch by myself, and I had loads of invites to go to people's houses and go out and do all this, and I didn't want to watch it around a bunch of people and listen to opinions and you not hear the commentary and shit like that. I just wanted to just relax and switch off and just get zoned into it and just really enjoy it.
It's way better doing that, isn't it?
Yeah, miles better.
I would actually rather do that than go to the fight.
Definitely.
Because you can see the post-fight interviews. And
you get everything.
No one's opinions and all that.
You get everything, and the corners in between the rounds and all that. And but like you said, when I saw Conor getting gloved up, like my heart rate just went through the roof. Started really getting nervous, and then when he got in the ring, and then Mayweather made his ring walk, I was like, heart rate was up. I was like really nervous, just pure excitement.
I timed my heart rate, and it was 110 beats per minute.
Right.
That's how, and I was resting. That's how nervous I was.
How sad are we though, right? we sat there, was watching this fight, like testing heart rates by ourselves. Everyone else is just going out getting smashed. But it just goes to show though, if you're just watching it on TV in your living room in your comfort zone, and your heart rate's that, and you're nervous, imagine what they're going through. You know, as many times as Conor's fought in the UFC, and as many times and experienced as Mayweather is, imagine what they're feeling before that first bell.
Do you know what I've just thought there? So in the Level 2 Boxing Burn Academy, I do a speech on social media and marketing, and one of the main things is you've got to get emotionally attached. If you get emotionally attached to the product, you're going to buy it all day long.
Yeah.
And this just proves that we were both emotionally attached to this fight.
Totally.
So, and that comes down to the marketing.
Yeah.
So that just shows how powerful being, if you're in a business, getting someone emotionally attached to your product.
And like I said, I keep going back to my blog because I covered a lot in that. If you go on glenholmes.net/blog, everything that I thought about the fight going up to it's all on there. And I mentioned this about the marketing and the build-up and all that. And who controls all that? Floyd Mayweather. He's the executive producer of all the All Access stuff. He decides what goes in and what goes out and how you perceive it. And he's all about bigging McGregor up just as much as himself, just to sell the fight. Yeah. He's not about like make this guy look like shit just so I've got an ego. He's smart. He knows that the better McGregor looks leading up to the fight, the more it's going to sell, and that's why he's made the money that he has. He's a smart businessman.
Like you see, that's how smart he is. He's that smart. All he put on All Access was him on roller skates, riding horses.
Yeah.
I've never seen any training. So all the time you think, wow, is he took his foot off the gas here? He's not working hard.
You know what's interesting? He said he didn't spar for a month before the fight to save his hands. So he hadn't sparred for a month leading up to the fight. And I think that, well, we'll get into the actual fight in a bit, but that was just interesting to find that out.
Right.
I love it when stuff like that comes out about the preparation. It always comes out after. I love it.
It was good. So, yeah, I mean, and then when the fight started, so in round one, I was like sitting there, mouth wide open, thinking, what the hell am I seeing? Because my prediction was I put £500, which is about $750, on Mayweather to knock him out within 5 rounds.
Within 5, yeah.
I believed it could have went 1 round. I really did. I thought he was going to smash him, come and reaching up.
Yeah, you've been saying that to me for a couple of weeks. Like the more you think about it, I think he's not going to last 2 rounds.
I know. I was thinking like this guy, and for him to go in and win the first round, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I expected Mayweather to come out a lot sharper and a lot more explosive than he was. I was waiting for him to be explosive and snappy.
Yeah.
Like how he was. But thinking back now in the build-up, he said, I'm not the same fighter I was 2 years ago. Yeah. He knows that snap isn't there as much.
Right.
So he's looking at how he fought and what the game plan was. So it's even more genius of a game plan because he knew he didn't have that explosive snap and footwork and speed that he used to have. And
in that first round, Conor hit Mayweather with a left uppercut. He slipped inside, boom.
Yeah.
He slipped inside of Mayweather's right hand, hit him with a left uppercut.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. So after the first round, they put it on slow motion, and I recorded it on my phone to put it on Twitter. And I put it on Instagram as well. And now it is Sunday night, and that video now has had 300,000 views, over 300,000 views.
So I think you were probably the first person to post that online, right? That clip, that slow-mo clip.
I must have been. But everyone's liked it, engaged with it. It's got on the popular page. This is another thing that I talk about in the Level 2 Academy, about the marketing.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
On there, I've posted. And I think when you click on Las Vegas Strip on Instagram right now, my video is
still
on
there.
My will be. So that's why it's at 300,000 views.
That's amazing because that's amazing because if you think about it, how many people were probably in Vegas outside the venue who couldn't get in and just wanted to see clips of the fight? They were probably looking at that and seeing that
and tagging each other in. So if you go on my Instagram, Tony_Jeffries, you'll see that clip that we're talking about and see how many views it's got by then. It's going up by the second.
That's mad. What's it at now?
It's on 311,000 views. 311,000 views.
That's insane.
5,000 likes.
Yeah.
So
let's get into it then. If we go get into the detail of the fight and how the fight actually went.
Yeah.
The first thing, as soon as the bell went and they come together. Actually, before that, when the ref was talking to him, I couldn't believe how big McGregor was. Right. I expected him to be a bit bigger than him, but I was just like, holy shit, he looked like a giant. He looked like a light heavyweight. He was like a light heavyweight against a welterweight.
Right.
I was like, holy shit, he's going to struggle here. Because that big southpaw arm just in his face like that. And I think the first 3-4 rounds, he was struggling to figure out how to get under it and get past it.
Right. When the referee was talking to them, did you notice what the referee was doing?
Talking forever.
He was talking forever, and he was talking to Conor. He never once looked at Floyd. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, this is going to be like the Ricky Hatton Mayweather fight. Remember that?
Where he wouldn't let him fight inside,
break up every single time. So obviously Mayweather had words with the referee about that shit.
Yeah. And the crowd started booing. Did you notice that?
When he was talking?
The referee just kept going on and on. I'm like, fucking hell, get on with it. And then they started booing, and finally he stopped and let him get on with it.
So then they started fighting, and he won the first round. What? Then he won the second round.
Yeah.
I was saying to me, missus, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I cannot believe it. Then he won the third round.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
At the time, I was in shock, and I was like, come on, Floyd, get going, come on, like, get your ass in gear here, let's do some work.
Floyd,
I was like, shit. But looking back on it, I think he kind of let that happen. Not like let it happen, but his strategy was stay outside, keep the distance, let's see what his power's like, let's see what he's got, let's figure out this awkward style for 2 or 3 rounds, give away maybe 2 or 3 rounds.
Nah,
Floyd and then go to work. And then go to work.
Round.
No, I'm not saying
he's shite.
I'm not saying that.
I think he got in there and when he was in there, he was surprised.
Yeah,
by how
I agree with that.
He was.
I agree. He was surprised.
Underestimated him when he went in.
Right, I agree. He was surprised, and I think the range and the distance that Conor kept him at surprised him, and Conor did really well at keeping him at the end of his jab. And I think Floyd struggled at the beginning to figure out that style, and he was kind of out of ideas the first 2 or 3 rounds, how to get close, and he couldn't find his range. Every time he stepped in, he was falling short with the right hand, and then he got caught with that uppercut. So he struggled the first 2 or 3 rounds to find the range and the distance. And then round 4, if you notice, boom, game plan switched. He just closed the distance and just said, right, I'm gonna stand right in front of you now, and I'm gonna walk you down and pressure and make you move. And then as soon as he made Conor move his feet and start circling, that's when Conor had to start doing the work then, because then he had to start moving his feet, and that tired him out, and he couldn't hold that pace.
But I said to Brendan on his show, because that when we broke it down, no way. I said, how can Conor win a round? Conor cannot win a round.
Yeah.
Now, fair play to Brendan.
He called that
for calling that
big time,
he was going to win rounds and
big
all
time.
That.
I always thought there was a chance of him picking up, at one, maybe 2 of the early rounds, just because of the unknown and the size difference, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
See, I thought he might land 1 or 2 punches in the fight.
Yeah.
But what really did happen is, I believe, is that Conor he threw a few bombs in them early rounds, and he started tiring. See, he's inexperienced as a fighter, especially to fight 12 rounds. See, when professional fighters turn professional, they start off with 4 rounds, then they move to 6, then they move to 8, then they move to 10, then they move to 12, over the space of 3 or 4 years.
Big time.
And there's a reason behind that, and the reason is what we've just seen there.
Yeah.
You don't know how to pace yourself for them. You can do as much work in the gym as you can, but if you're not pacing yourself for correctly, not knowing when to punch hard, not knowing when to breathe, not knowing when to punch fast and light.
And coming from, he's used to fighting for 25 minutes, 15 to 25 minutes, right? And there's a lot of, and as fit as and strong as MMA fighters are, it's a completely different style of conditioning and energy system required than it is for 12 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, but even though it is 5-minute rounds, it's 5 rounds. At the end of the 5 rounds, it's over.
Yeah.
Now in boxing, even though it's short rounds, at the end of 5 rounds, he's still got 7 rounds to go.
Right.
And he even said this in a post-fight press conference where he was like, I get to 6-7 rounds, and I'm like, shit, I've still got 5 or 6 rounds left.
Yeah, and that was going through my head when I was watching it. He came back to the corner, I think, round 4 or 5, and Conor sat on his stool. Like, you could see him, he was breathing. Right. And he looked at Floyd, and he was just like, I think he looked at the camera and smiled. Right. You know, I'm like, and this is what I talked about leading up to it. I'm like, Floyd's done 12 rounds, 15, 20, maybe 30 times. Yeah. You know, he's been doing this shit for years at world level. His conditioning's just in him. Right. It's in his body. He doesn't have to think. He's so relaxed in there. You know, he can do this shit all night. He could probably go 24. Yeah. Connor's never done that. So he started feeling the pace, and the Mayweather knew that going in. He's like, he's going to tire, he's going to fatigue. Yeah. No matter how fit and in shape he is, he can.
Even though that after the 4th round, I think Mayweather won all. I wouldn't give McGregor another round after that.
I think the first 3, and then I didn't give him anything
but
after that.
But he's still done really well, and I text you after like 5 rounds saying Mayweather looked shite because he did look shit.
He did look shit.
McGregor was spinning him round. His footwork was amazing.
Yeah, he turned him so good.
So good.
He was turning him for fun.
I know. And then, but I mean, he was throwing them daft little rabbit punches, them little slaps. Which,
them hammer shots.
Yeah, which was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which I think he was close to getting a point. Did he get to a point?
No, he didn't, but he was close.
But then Mayweather turning his back as well. Well, McGregor getting around his back.
And that comes down to lack of experience again, because every time he turned him, he didn't really know what to do. He turned him, and then he was like, oh, shit. And Mayweather was covering up because he turned him good. Yeah. And then he'd be like this.
Right.
And like someone with a bit more experience, turn him, smashing body shots. Yeah. You know, like keep him on. You know, you could have used that a lot better.
I think it's because he didn't know whether it was legal or not legal, which I was at the same time. I honestly thought, wait there, is it... He's behind him now. Can he hit him here?
That's where his MMA instincts came out instead of like boxing experience.
But
like someone could turn him like that.
Even with my boxing experience, when I seen how well he turned him,
and then you're like, shit, his back's turned.
If he hits him now, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But obviously now after, you can think like, if you just smashed him in the head, it's Mayweather's fault.
Well, if you're thinking from a boxing standpoint, if you like from that southpaw stance, and you turn someone like that, and they're almost like got their back to you, you just start smashing like the kidney will be open, right?
And the kidney stroke, that's illegal.
Like on the side, right here.
That's illegal around the back there. Yeah.
But compared to doing that,
I mean,
you know, if you're on the blind side of the referee,
boom, you can still do it
and smash the elbows and the arms and the shoulders. You know, you'd get some. You just hit anything you can.
Yeah. But and then Floyd put his hands up and started walking him down, and McGregor was getting tired. And then I think after round 7, you could see it was like, well, no, in fact, after round 7, I was like, fucking hell, this is going to get my distance here. I really did. Round 8 came in. Yeah. Mayweather had a great round. I think round 9.
8, 9, and 10, he started really finding that right hand. Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, it's just a matter of time because McGregor was exhausted.
Yeah.
As well. And then when it come to the stoppage, I think it could have went an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think it was a bit early.
I would have liked to have seen McGregor hit the ground.
That's what McGregor said after. He said, at least let me go down and let me try and fight back. You know, he said, I was a bit tired, but I'm used to fighting tired, you know. But just to rewind, when Mayweather changed his game plan up and started getting close to him and started walking him down with the hands up, if you notice, he was really static. His footwork wasn't...
Mayweather?
Yeah, he just literally walked him down.
Right.
And I was like, wow, he's really kind of stiff-legged and straight-legged. He's not as explosive as he was. It's a really smart game plan, but it was interesting to see how he was not the same on his feet, and his snap and his explosiveness wasn't quite the same as it was back even 2 years ago in the Berto fight. And Mayweather said that coming in. He's like, I'm not the same fighter I was 2 years ago.
But I believe he never trained real well for the fight either.
Mayweather?
Well. Yeah, I think... he didn't look very sharp.
Well, he said after he didn't spar for a month, so I presume his preparation wasn't the best. But just that, he walking down and just that lead right hand out of nowhere, because I think he's just out of nowhere, isn't it? It's just there and it's just like, boom! Fast. And then he just rolls out and he just started timing that so good. And then I felt like once he landed a couple of them, I think he got his confidence up. He's like, right, I can stop him whenever I want now. Right, yeah. But I think round 4 or 5, I was a bit panicky. I was like, shit, he's struggling here. And then I was like, come on. Yeah.
He did look old.
But then I think, looking back on it, I think he was in control and at ease the whole time. And his dad said to him, I think in between 4 or 5, something like that, he went, look, whenever you want to go to work, just go to work.
Right, I heard
and then as soon as his dad said that, I was like, he's got it. I'm like, just trusting him, he's got it. And then he had it.
So, summarising it up now, that was a hell of a fight. This was the best fight that I've seen. Well, not his last 2 fights. This was a better fight than it was against Pacquiao and against Berto. 100%. This was
because he was forced to come forward. He had a bigger, stronger, taller guy awkward in front of him, and his game plan forced him to come forward, which made it so that he's going to take a couple of punches. He's not in that shell, relying on circling and movement and slick reflexes and counter punching. He was forced to fight a different style that we haven't seen him fight for a long time.
I don't think he was forced to fight that style. I think
he was, because if you look at the first 3 rounds, he stayed outside and tried to do his usual shit,
that's true,
and he just got his head jabbed off.
Right. I think that comes down to underestimating. I think 2 years ago, the way he fought then, if he fought against Berto, the way he fought against McGregor, he would have just outboxed him, would have won on points.
Yeah.
But the way he boxed now made it more entertaining. Yeah. Which we all wanted.
Right.
Which made the better fight.
And Floyd understands that. He said I was going to come forward. I said I was going to stop him and turn around. And he did. He did what he said he was going to do. I love that. I
really believe that was a win-win for Floyd.
Yeah.
For McGregor.
Yep.
For the boxing fans, for everyone.
Definitely.
With McGregor not being knocked down, that's way better for him, because now we can see, look, he never put us down.
Yeah.
I was ready, my head was right.
Right.
So, that's why I would have liked to have seen the knockdown.
It was shit when he landed that right hand that knocked him back towards the ropes, and I was like, oh, he's going to go here. I think round 9, I was like, oh, he'll stop him next round. I could see Conor was really struggled that 9th round. And then when he landed that right hand and Conor really like kind of stumbled back to the ropes right before he got stopped. It was like shades of like Ricky Hatton when after he got up after the first knockdown, and then he landed that other shot and Hatton was stumbling back, but Hatton went down. I was like, I could see it was like flashbacks. It was like the same kind of finish.
So,
but Conor managed to stay on his feet.
What's next? So Mayweather's obviously 50-0.
He's done now. I think
he's done. I hope he's done. I really do.
I think he knows he's done. I think that was kind of a test to see how much he had left, and you could see like his legs weren't. His footwork wasn't as good. He was a lot worse. He looked old.
No, he's a prick, Mayweather.
He's a what?
He's a prick.
You think?
He's a prick. Them strip clubs and all that, like, he's just
that's just his lifestyle. I think his lifestyle's pricky, but
I don't like it. Like what McGregor said, he made some investments that I wouldn't have made. Like, it's just like I didn't like it.
He's a seedy fucker, isn't he?
Just seedy.
Yeah.
Living in Vegas.
Yeah.
With all them fucking strippers. Just dirty bastards. Just getting his balls licked every night. Different shit. It's just, fucking 6 kids to 7 different women. What's all about?
Yeah, that side of it, 100%. But I think
who do you like better, Mayweather or McGregor?
Me?
Yeah.
After what you've just said about him, you're gonna make me look like a knobhead now. But
so you like Mayweather?
I'd say Mayweather.
Why? I mean,
just because leading up to the fight. At the beginning, I was like, wow, McGregor's going to give him a real run for his money here, and just like, don't give a shit, confident as fuck. Like, I love that about him. But then when it got closer to the fight, I was just like, when he started saying shit like, I'm going to knock him out in 2 rounds, I'm going to make it look easy, I'm the future of boxing. I just thought, right, you're just talking shit now. I don't believe what you're saying. You're just saying it, right? I don't actually believe what you're saying. I think you're just talking shit. And I think Mayweather just kind of lets his boxing do the talking a little bit more.
He does now, but Mayweather was a mouth.
He was in the beginning.
That's how he got to where he was.
Right. Now he just lets his boxing do the talking. And with the way he was after the fight, saying, thanks to all the fans coming out from Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a great show and all. And the mutual respect between the two of them. And then everything that Mayweather said in the post-fight press conference, I'm like, he's not the arsehole ego trip guy that everyone thinks he is. I think he's got I think he is to an extent, but I don't think...
He said, who the fuck's this white boy? When I was the only white boy in the fucking gym.
What year was this?
A prick. This was
like 09, 2010. Yeah, that's 7-8 years ago. I think back then he was. I think he's a lot more mature now.
Right.
And I think he's way smarter as a business guy, and he thinks about things a lot more. And I honestly think he's a little bit more humble than he used to be, even though he's achieved even more.
I think he is.
The guy's class. I just think the guy's a genius on all levels. He's unbelievable.
He's been really good for boxing, really entertaining. He invented 24/7. You know what I mean?
On HBO.
HBO 24/7. Then I went to All Access when he went to Showtime.
Yeah.
He invented that. He gave everyone in the sport a different look into the lives of boxing, which is only good for boxing.
One interesting thing in the post-fight press conference, he got asked who's going to be the next superstar of boxing and who do you think it might be and how's it going to happen and all this. And he said, well, we're at Mayweather Promotions, we're always looking for the next superstar and all that. And everyone was talking about like Gervonta Davis and stuff. But from what I've heard from couple of sources, they're not big on that Gervonta Davis. They're like almost pushing for him to lose because of him not making weight and him not listening to Mayweather in training camps and all this kind of stuff. But what Mayweather said was, he said what the fighters of today don't understand is that knocking people out and being an amazing in the ring isn't enough. He said, and the guys that I'm working with, I'm trying to teach them, you need to be amazing outside of the ring. You need to work on your personality. You need to work on your marketing. You need to have something to offer that no other fighter can have. You need to be able to talk. You need to have the whole persona that goes with your fighting ability. And that, he said, is what a lot of fighters are missing. And this is what I think there's a big problem with. Well, not a problem, but what's lacking from the Canelo Triple G fight, it's a pure fighter's fight. It's a boxer's fight. Yeah. You look at them two outside the ring, they're boring as fuck. But both can't really speak English very well. They're not got like... And I'm not saying that go and talk shit for the sake of it, but it's just that whole personality side of it that's lacking from it.
Definitely.
And that's what Mayweather was saying in the post-fight press conference. That's what you need.
Before, about the getting emotionally involved.
Exactly, yeah.
Even if it's emotionally you hate them, you've got to think of something like now. Yeah, Canelo Triple G, going to be a great fight. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not emotionally like whoever wins, I don't give a shit. Yeah. Because I don't think anything good or think anything bad of either of them. Yeah, they're just both like
amazing fighters, right? Yeah.
And like you said, that's the problem with most fighters. But I think with that you've either got it or you haven't got it.
Right.
It's something that you can't really train, like Badou Jack.
Yeah.
Great fighter.
So boring.
Boring as fuck.
Boring.
Like
his post-fight press conference, I was like, do you really expect anyone to give a shit about you? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And I was watching Carl Froch talk about Andre Ward, and the guy he was talking to was saying like, come on, Andre Ward's pound for pound best. He boxed years off you, like this.
Yeah.
And Froch was like, yeah, but no one wants to pay to watch him.
Yeah.
His style's boring.
Right.
He wins fights. Do you know why he wins fights? Because he's got a boring style. Defends first.
Yeah.
He might be talented, but no one wants to pay to watch him. And he said, and then he went on about 80,000 came and watched me at Wembley and all that.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's because he's got a personality and he can sell fights. Andre Ward, as good as he is, and I love Andre Ward. I love that he's like a humble, kind of quiet guy. I like that style too. But that ain't going to sell you, millions of pay-per-views.
If you look at the top superstar fighters that really stand out in history, you've got especially Britain, you've got Prince Naseem Hamed, Roy Jones Jr., Chris
Eubank. The Eubank and Nigel Benn days, in the 90s.
Fighting each other.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Mike Tyson outside the ring. If you look at
Bruno and Tyson, Lennox Lewis and Tyson. And I don't think Lennox Lewis was that big of a personality.
He fought Tyson.
Yeah.
But if you watch Tyson's interviews, they're the best, they're the funniest interviews you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Compared to someone like Vladimir Klitschko, who done, I mean, he wasn't champion then. As soon as Tyson was like 21, he was champion. But he'd done great things in boxing.
Yeah.
Boring outside the ring.
Yeah.
Then you've got Tyson Fury, who's a standout, who's a household name around the world.
Yeah.
Boring. And now we've got Anthony...
Did you say Tyson Fury's boring?
No, sorry, not boring. And then we've got Anthony Joshua, who is I would say, he's a little bit boring, but he's... It's just going to be scary, but he's sexy as well. Sexy. He's Instagram.
He's a good-looking lad. He's shredded. The thing of him, he's marketable.
Yeah.
It's not that he talks shit and that he's a loudmouth and he's full of personality and all this, because he's pretty quiet, isn't he? He's quietly spoken. He don't really talk shit about other fighters.
Yeah.
But he sells because he looks good, and that's half of it as well.
He looks good and he's great on social media, which is huge these days. I mean, all fighters should be on social media, fucking doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like we had Shane Mosley Jr. Used to work in Box and Burn. Sugar Shane Mosley's son. He's just stopped because he's got a fight camp and he's going to come back. But he was saying to me, "I can't get a fight. I went, mate, go on Twitter right now. Tweet someone like Anthony Fowler, who's an Olympian from England, who's got a big name, and tweet the Eddie Earn as well.
Yeah.
Keep saying, I want to fight him. Come on, I'll fight him.
Yeah.
Come on, fight. And then you get fights.
Put yourself out there.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Well, guess what, mate? You're not going to get a fight.
Yeah.
You know, you can be quiet, but you need to put yourself out there.
They almost think like, oh, I'll rely on my talent.
Right.
Like someone will find me.
Talent ain't enough.
It's exactly right.
Talent ain't enough.
It ain't enough.
But yeah, I mean, it's simple now with the social media. Now, I was lucky enough there. I come back from the Olympics. I didn't really have to do that and call people out. I was getting fights. I was getting paid really good. I was on TV all the time. But if I wasn't and I had to do that, maybe that's something I would have to do.
Well, you were fortunate in that you had a really good following from your hometown. So you could sell tickets and you're marketable and you had that good fan base behind you. And, and Hatton as well with Manchester, it's like you get the whole town behind you and then, you respond to them and you're in touch with them and you're personable. You're not above, like, the people who are following you. You're, like, in touch with them a lot. Your fan base is just going to keep growing.
Talking about inspirations, Hatton was my inspiration when I was professional. I was actually on Hatton Mayweather's undercard in England. So they had the undercard in Sunderland. We went from Sky Sports and I went to Vegas, Hatton Mayweather. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
Danny Williams was on there fighting Jimmy Moore.
Right.
And I was on there and
So they had a fight card in England on the undercard for Mayweather Hatton?
Right.
Right, I never knew that.
Just like the will of for the McGregor. I'm sure there was a fight card on Sky Sports before that. And it goes from there straight to that one.
Right.
So I was on that card. I mean, Hatton was a big inspiration. I met him a few times. Actually, I texted him. I was texting him the other day because I was trying to get him on Brendan's podcast before the fight. When
McGregor
Brendan
fight.
was in Manchester, I said I'll speak to Ricky and try and get him to do a session with you or whatever. It never come off. But massive inspiration to me. Like you say, he was one with the fans. With the fans.
Exactly, yeah.
And it was so good.
So just to rewind back to the Mayweather-McGregor thing and what's next, do you see Conor McGregor having another boxing match or not? You think he goes straight back to UFC?
Do you know what, with Conor now, I don't know what he'll do. Conor can do anything he wants. He seems to love fighting.
Yeah.
And he's going to make a ton of money.
He's only 29.
You know, when
I'd say he got another 10 years left of fighting.
When he trained in Box and Burn, he posted a video of him hitting that ball, that bag.
The uppercut bag.
Sound. Yeah. He posted a video of him that the phone in the gym never stopped people saying, where can I get that bag from?
Really?
Where can I get that bag from? And all you've got to do is Google it. So imagine how many of them punch bags got sold.
Yeah, the Lonsdale ones.
It wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
You can get them anywhere you want. But that made us think like, wow, he can sell anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely anything he wants. He can do anything he wants in life now.
So, do you think he'll box again?
I think he might. Like, if the money's there, like, I think there's the only one fight that I would want to see him was with Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah.
There's no one else who I'd want to, like, I don't want to see him fight someone like Adrian Broner or like, who else can he fight?
The only fight that makes sense is the Malignaggi fight.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that fight. I think it'd be great.
I think if that happens to it, I think the same thing's going to happen, the exact same thing with what happened with Floyd.
You think Malignaggi will stop him?
I think it definitely could happen, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Malignaggi had like 3 knockouts in about 50 fights.
That's true, but I think it comes down to the conditioning again.
Yeah, just tire him.
And one thing about Malignaggi, he's so smart.
Yeah.
So intelligent.
He's already sold the fight.
Yeah, it's sold.
You know, the fight is sold. It's there if they want it.
Malignaggi wants that fight as well. Well, this has been good.
And then, before we wrap up, what's next for Mayweather? You think he's definitely done now?
Mayweather's just going to buy loads of strip clubs, shag loads of fucking women with big fat asses, and just be a dirt bag for the rest of his life.
And polish cars and flying jets.
And try and.
He said he wants to be a trainer. Said he's going to get us being a trainer.
I would hate to have Mayweather as a trainer. I would
Really?
hate it. It's all about him. Remember when that Davis went and fought Liam Welch in England?
Yeah.
It was all about Mayweather. Mayweather's just talking about himself. So I wouldn't want a trainer who's going to take the limelight from me.
Right.
So I'm doing the work. If he goes to a boxing tournament, like Shane Mosley was saying, every time his dad was in his corner, he'd go to a fight and everyone was, get a picture, Shane, get a picture.
Yeah.
It'd be the same, you know, he wouldn't want to train like that. I think he'd be a shit trainer, you know. So that was it. Well, thank you for listening. If you have not already, please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, which is a weekly podcast. We upload them every Tuesday. You'll get a notification if you subscribe that we upload one. Also, follow us on Instagram at Boxing Life. Tweet us, Instagram us, keep in contact with us. We want to be in touch with everyone. I'd like to say a big thank you to V. Was that III or 111?
It's 8.
8, that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's like Roman numerals for 8.
This T-shirt, if you're watching on YouTube, they sent us a T-shirt and a really nice hat. Thanks for that. If you are a T-shirt or a hat company and you want us to wear your stuff on the Box Life podcast, by all means, send us one. Ernie, what size T-shirt are you, mate? Double XL for Ernie, the producer as well. Send the T-shirts in, send the hats in, send anything in for what you want, and we'll plug it on the podcast. Also, leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps the show. And until next time, I'm Tony Jeffries. This is Glen Holmes. We'll see you later.
See you later.